That's going to be a big part of our discussion today. I am so excited to be here with my friend and coach, Dale. And this is the season one, episode one, of Retention Made Simple, building client loyalty in 100 days or less, where you can actually, and this is not like a fake claim, it is possible that you could double your revenue without getting any more clients. And I actually put that into ChatGPT and it said, "This feels like a really bold claim. Are you sure?" And I'm like, "Yes, I'm sure." And so I'm so excited to have Dale on as my first guest. And the question I have for you is, who are you and how does that impact how you show up in the world, in your life, in your business, and all the things? And one of my favorite books is a book called Who Not How. And a lot of people read that book and they're like, "Oh, yeah, it's really good." But if you don't know who you are first, then you're not going to be able to implement who, not how, right? And so there's an order of operations. But when I read Who Not How, I recognized I had already been living that life from a very young age. I was able to delegate well. It's just part of what I do and figuring out what I'm good at. But what I didn't recognize was in 2019 when I met Dale and I went through his Strengths Finder process, how much more I would know who I was, because that was the missing element for me, that I didn't truly know who I was. I didn't know who God created me to be. And because of going through his process and continuing to go through the different modalities and teachings, from we've done the Everything Disc and with my team, and that was good. And now the Working Genius, which is amazing, and your energy map and all this stuff. And so I had no idea how my life would be transformed when I met Dale in 2019. And so it is very much on purpose that I am so excited to have Dale on as our first guest for this podcast. So, Dale, introduce yourself a little bit. Tell everybody who you are, how you help in the world, and a little bit just about who you are. And then we're going to have a discussion about who are you and how this all plays out for people, but also how that ties to client retention. And I have some things I want to make sure that we talk about how you helped me be better at my own retention. So that's kind of the game plan. Are you good with that?
I'm good with that. So
All right.
thank you so much, Sam, for inviting me here. I'm so honored to be your first guest. I'm honored for our friendship and everything that we've done together over the last 7 years now. Is it something like
Almost,
good grief?
almost.
I mean, it's getting close. And just how we met. It's just an amazing God story and everything else. So it's just been you've been a huge part of my life, and I thank you for everything you've done with me and for me. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So me, I am Dale Young. I am 71, almost 72 years old. I know that kind of amazes a lot of people, but I'm starting to get some gray hair up there. So starting to get a little bit of that. Um, let's see. I was in IT world for 48 years total. It just strikes me as crazy that I did that for so long, but it was where God had me. But God started calling me out of that back in 1992. Went through about 30-year journey to really figure out who I really was deep inside me, who God had created me to be, and also why am I here? That's really I think those are the two big questions: who and why. And I throw in a third one, which is where. Where do you belong? That just kind of seems to round out the whole structure for me. But I went on my own journey, first finding out who I was, helping other people like yourself figure out who they were, and then figuring out really the divine purpose, what I call the calling. And my calling is to inspire calling. And that's really in anybody that I run into. But primarily, I'm called to help business owners. And so I help business owners by not only helping them figure out who and why and where, but also helping them with their business processes. I mean, I've got the deep background in IT. I've got the deep background in systems and processes and structures and all of that sort of stuff. We both have strategic number one in our Clifton strengths, and that works well for both of us. And it helps me to help other people do the strategic planning, strategic job, all that sort of stuff. So, and if you notice, my title to put on here right now is Chief Plate Spinner. I am spinning like 7 different plates, but they are all related to helping me do my calling, which once again is inspiring calling in others.
Yeah, that's so good. And for those that don't understand what strategic means, I'll just tell you that what Dale helped me understand, I always, well, not always, I would get frustrated with people when they would come to me and say, I need to do this. And then I would come up with a plan and be like, well, that makes a total sense. You're right here and you want to get here. And so I could see all the little steps that had to happen to get from here to here. And they didn't get that immediately. Like either you have strategic or you don't. It's not something that like you just have it. And not everybody thinks the same way, right? We're different. And so
you really can't learn it. It's something that you either have or you don't have.
yeah. Yeah. And so, but for us both, it was so funny. Like, what are the odds of somebody having the same strengths? Do you know the number? Do you remember?
Oh gosh, to have the same top 5 strengths at all is like 1 in 33 million or something, but to have them in the
And we
same
have
order,
4 of the 5
yeah,
that
I
are the
mean,
same.
it's insane how much, because there's 34 talents or strengths in the
Yeah.
process. And so every time you add a new strength in, it just doubles the amount of combinations. So
Yeah.
for somebody to have the same 34 in the same order, the chances are like 1 in 218 trillion billion or something like that. You know, it's just almost
It's crazy.
impossible. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Well, the fact that we have 4 of the same 4 of the 5 in the top 5, it was pretty amazing.
Mhm.
And so you don't just do Strengths Finder, right?
No.
You do a lot of you find the modality that works the best, and you actually wrote the book on assessments to figure out, you know, the identity key, right?
Mhm.
And you have a new book coming out soon. I'm not going to say when because that might commit you to a date, but it's very soon. It's very soon. And so once we have that, I'll put that in the show notes. Talk a little bit just about the book because I want to make sure I don't forget that to let people know what to expect, and I'll make sure that links in the show notes.
The title of the book, you know, subject to change as always until it actually gets published. But the title of the book right now is The Power of Aligning Your Faith and Business. And that's really what my calling is. You know, if I'm going to help people find their divine purpose in life, I have to help them find who they are from a faith side of things, as well as helping them get their business onto a more solid footing. So I really live at that intersection between those two things. It's really kind of interesting. I have look back over my life and I've always seemed to have been in the intersection, whether it was the intersection of different types of technology things. Like I was a really good DBA and a really good operating system person. But I was better at operating systems than any other DBA, and I was better at database than any other operating system person. So I live kind of in that intersection. And when I look back over my career and over my life, I'm always in those intersections. And so the intersection of faith and business is where I'm living right now. And it really just seems to fit really well. So title, The Power of Aligning Your Faith and Business. Subtitle, subtitle, True Stories, Timeless Wisdom, and Legacy Outcomes. Because the whole thing is what are you going to do to leave an impact in the world? What's your legacy going to be?
Yeah, let's talk about that for a second because we've had a discussion, pretty deep discussions about what was legacy when you leave to and from. You want to talk about that?
Right. What's the difference between an inheritance and a legacy? An inheritance is what you leave to someone. A legacy is what you leave in someone. And so, you know, we all are going to leave this world, and we're not going to take anything with us, right? I mean, there's no U-Haul trailers behind the hearses. I mean, people say that all the time, but it really is true. You can't take it with you. Um, the most you can do to take with you into heaven is you can take your relationships with you. You can take the impact that you had. And what you are leaving behind on earth is that impact. It's that legacy. It's
Yeah.
that what you leave in someone,
Yeah.
the difference you made, the change that your little stone that you dropped in the pond that rippled out. Did it just die out, or did it become a tsunami that really affected a
Right.
big amount of people?
Yeah. So this is old school. So if you're older than 35 or 40, you may know this reference. But was it Ray Boltz who had the song back in the 80s, the Thank You? And it was talking about everybody when he got to heaven, all the people that had impacted him. He was able to say thank you. And that's a song that I think of when I'm thinking about my life, is that who I am. I am a business owner, but more than that, I'm a wife, I'm a mom, I'm a sister, I'm a friend. And if I don't take care of those relationships, I don't think ain't nobody gonna be at my funeral saying, man, she was a good business person. It was, man, she showed up when things were hard.
Hmm.
Listen to me. That those are the things I would hope people would say, right? And when I think about legacy, specifically for my kids and my grandkids, it's like, wow, if I can't make an impact in their lives, I don't know that I wanna make an impact in anybody else's. Not that I don't want to, right? But if I can't at least have a good have a good relationship or a loving, kind relationship where they know my heart, those are just the most important relationships with my husband and my family. And I think as business owners, sometimes we get so caught up because we do have to make money, right? It's not free to live. So we have to make money, but we get things out of order, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I've seen a very good example with you of how you show up in the world. You take care of your beautiful bride, Kayla, who you met while, after we met,
Hmm.
and so it was really interesting. I got to watch my best friend fall in love with his best friend, and it was really cool, and seeing how you show up at the church and just participate in people's lives. And so you do this thing. A lot of people talk about doing the thing, but you actually do the thing, and that's, I think, what sets you apart.
Well, in the last decade of my life here, really, I have found that it's all about the relationships. Without relationships, it doesn't matter how much money you have in the bank. It doesn't matter how many things you have in your house. It doesn't matter how big your house is. If you don't have the relationships to actually set and enjoy those things, what
Mhm.
good are they? So,
Yeah.
and that's why I put the third section in my logo. Not only do you have to know who you are at an individual level, you have to know where you belong. And the where you belong is all about the relationships. It's about, who's in your circles. Your very tight inner circle, your next level out, your next level out from there. How does that all work? And I've talked to you about the relationship bullseye and
Right.
how that can really help encapsulate that. And I think one of the things, like you said, I met Kayla in 2021, and you were part of the whole thing. I was introducing her to all of my inner circle people at the time and all that sort of stuff. But you can't go from somebody that was totally outside of every circle that existed, for me in this case. Uh, she went through all those circles and got into my inner circle really fast.
Mhm.
And that's really tough to do,
Yeah.
but I made sure to introduce her to as many people coming in and make sure that all of them saw the same thing I saw. I wasn't
Yeah.
blinded just by love or whatever,
Right.
or lust or whatever. I was actually letting other people speak into me and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And so, it worked, but But that's really, I think that's what I'm so excited about with the Working Genius is not only does it tell you, well, let me say it this way. The who are you, there's many personality tests out there. DISC, Myers-Briggs, even Clifton Strengths. There's all kinds of assessments out there that tell you a lot about who you are. The Working Genius tells you about how you do things. It's
Right.
not only how you work, but how you do things, how you are a human doing, and how
Mhm.
much do we get between the human doing and the human being. We have to know who we are as a human being, and then we have to know how we do things as a human doing, and
Mhm.
what feeds our energy and what doesn't feed our energy during all of that. And then how do you put that into community? How do you bring in, okay, well, you work like this, I work like this. We happen to be really similar in the way that
Yeah,
we work
yeah.
on the Working Genius.
That might not be the best example. Maybe me and Monty.
Well, exactly. Or you and your team. Most of your
Yeah,
team is completely different from both of us, and so
and
they
that's
support both
beautiful.
of us really well.
Yes.
And hopefully the team that I'm going to be growing over the next year or two is going to work the same way. So, it's just really beautiful when I get energy by doing the things that my team isn't getting energy from, and my team gets energy from doing the things that I don't do. And
Yeah.
so that's a beautiful relationship at that point.
Yeah, that's so good. I remember when I very first started coaching with you in 2019 and recognizing like I was angry that communication was number 14. The fact that I know it's still that it's number 14. I'm like, I publish all these, I was a publisher, I write all these books, and how is communication not higher? But what you helped me understand, because the way you go through it is literally based on each one, that communication based on that assessment is means something different than what I was thinking, right? And the other thing that was really important for me to understand was that if you're truly not gifted in something and it's down in the bottom, you're you're going to waste a lot of time trying to get better, the way I say it, and it's a little not as politically correct as probably you would say it, but you're going to spend time trying to get better at things you suck at.
Mhm.
And you're not going to have the return that you would if you focus on the things you're already naturally good at. Focus on maximizing those and then finding people to surround you to do the rest. And so that was, we use this quote all the time, but you helped me stop swimming upstream. I was able to start going with the flow of who God created me to be, and that's when the magic happened. Truly, it's not it sounds good, but it's even better than sounding good because it's true.
Exactly, exactly. I I like the way John Maxwell put this whole thing about energy and all this sort of stuff. Um, on a scale of 1 to 10, let's say you're a three at something, okay, and you work really hard and you actually manage to get that up 2 points to a five. Okay, well, you're a five. You're still average. You're still not. People don't play for average. People don't do anything for
Average.
average. Okay, but if you're a seven and you work really hard and you can get that up to a nine's exceptional, and people pay for exceptional. Okay, and so you think about it that way. Why would you not invest your time in the things you're already good at, so that
Yeah,
you can get even better and get to that exceptional status, as opposed to just trying to be average or ordinary like everybody else.
yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, that's so good. All right, so let's transition a little bit and talk about retention. And I want to use some very clear examples of how you have helped me make my own company stronger, because I do teach retention, but not only do I teach it, I actually try and live it out. Like I try, um, and it's not that I use the word try. It's not I don't try. I do it. Like this is just part of who I am. I've come to recognize that this is my life's calling, is to really be able to help business owners understand how to do a really good job at what they do, and have a retention program set up that has proper onboarding, appreciation, and feedback. And one of the women that works for me, she had a rough end of the year with some family losses and stuff, and I messaged her yesterday, not on work. I texted her to where it was a text message, not through our normal work channels, just checking in to see how she was. And she wrote me back and was just so appreciative that I took time to think of her. And when you do those kinds of things well, your team is going to just be more attached to you. They're going to be more bought in. They're going to be more loyal. Um, you know that all of my clients have come from referrals. All of my team have come from referrals. And so this is what I do. And I still mess up sometimes. And so I thought I would tell two stories of when I messed up and how you graciously, because we do have the relationship, you were able to guide me and say, hey. And the first one was, I think it would have been early, I think it would have been Christmas 2020. I think we had gone, that's the year that we went to TSO and Caitlin went with us. And I think it was 2020. It could have been 21. But I had put together these great gift baskets. I had Donna on my team, and she made homemade cookies, and they were divine. The cookies were so good, and the little labels that she put on the cookies had like your logo, and it was like this whole cool thing, and a bottle of wine, and the basket was beautiful. And you graciously received it, and then later we were on a call or you messaged me, you're like, I really appreciate what you're trying to do, but I don't drink that kind of wine and I'm on a diet and I don't want the cookies. And so you have to know your clients enough to be able to give them something that matters to them, not you, because the gift and the appreciation is about them. It's not about you. And so now I know that as I'm talking to people and I'm finding out if they drink or they don't drink, because I actually do that. So I know if I'm going to send something, I know if it's appropriate or not. Now I'm trying to find out more, not just do you drink, but what do you prefer? So now if I wanted to send you a bottle of wine, I would be able to do that in a better way. And so making sure that you understand that the appreciation has nothing to do with you. It's not that you're going to put together this great thing and they're going to be like, oh my gosh, look at it. If they don't receive it as good, and it's just not going to matter. And so thank you for being able to share those things with me, because it does help me be better.
Well, you're quite welcome. And the thing is, I really do love cookies all the time.
I know.
And,
Who doesn't love,
it's just,
especially Donna's cookies?
yeah, but you just caught me at a time when I was trying to do my best to stay away from them. So
I know.
So a lot of times, and that brings up another point, is that things change. You have to stay connected with your clients, and you have
Yes.
to stay up to date on what's going on with them and everything.
Yeah.
Because if you don't do that, you may send them cookies at the wrong time,
At
even
the
though
wrong
they do love
time.
cookies.
Yeah. Or if they're participating in dry January or whatever, right?
Mhm.
And so there's different things. And alcohol is really probably not the best gift to send just because of the thing, but sometimes it's okay. And so the second time, though, this is my favorite. And it was our third birthday. So I do something kind of weird compared to most business owners. And what I do is for my business birthday, which is April 1st, it was not a joke, I send gifts to my clients to say thank you. And that matters to me because without my clients, I don't have anything, right? And so for our third birthday, I had sent 3 little bags of popcorn and found out that Kayla, your sweet bride, calls popcorn Satan's candy. She hates popcorn, everything popcorn. And I wouldn't have known that. And so that's going to say that You can have the best of intentions. You could have, like, I know you, I know the situation. I know, like, we're friends. This isn't just like a client that I talk to, whatever. We're really good friends. And I didn't even know that. So even when you try, sometimes it's going to miss the mark, and that's okay. It's not about perfection. They understand the intent, right? But trying to do things that I would have never thought popcorn would have been a thing.
Popcorn is one of those very unusual things, but she had a couple of episodes with popcorn. One when she was pregnant and was at a movie theater and they burnt the popcorn, and she was starting to get over that. And then she was a teacher, and somebody actually put a bag of popcorn in the microwave for 3 hours, not 3 minutes.
No.
And it set the microwave on fire, and her room was right above that place, and so she had to smell
Oh,
burnt popcorn for a long time. And so
that's so funny. I didn't know that's still part of the
yeah, yeah.
story.
So, I mean,
I knew about the pregnancy one, but I didn't know about the school.
so this is why she detests
Yeah.
popcorn, and I think the point here, the important point here, is, do you have a relationship with your clients so that they feel free to tell you those kinds of things and just tell you, hey, popcorn doesn't work for us,
Right.
type of thing or whatever.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, and that's actually where I was going with this, because one of the things that I really teach is really, really important. We have a three-part process: onboarding, appropriate appreciation, and feedback. And when you start the client journey, there's a 5-step onboarding process. When you start the client journey and 2 of those 5 things are requesting feedback, you are setting up your clients to stay longer, because they're gonna know that you wanna know what's going on, right? And if there's a problem or something to address, that you are open to having the conversation. Because if they feel like they can't tell you, then they're not going to, and then they're gonna just kind of back up and be like, this happened. I don't really want to address it. They're not gonna like it, so I'm just gonna bounce and I'm not gonna deal with it. Well, that's when you start to lose clients, right? And so I want my clients to know 100% if there's an issue, whether it's something I sent you or something my team did or something I did, I want to know immediately.
mhm.
And our company has grown in such a way that there's only 4 clients that I still talk to on a regular basis. You're one of them. And my team handles everything for everybody else. And so there's some of our clients that I hardly ever talk to. But when we do the onboarding, I'm part of it. And I let them know that they're going to get an email from me every 90 days. I'm going to say it's preset, right? So this is just part of the process. Every 90 days, you're going to get a request from me to schedule a time on my calendar, because I want to make sure I see you and we're having a conversation. The second part of that, though, is don't wait until you get that email if there's a problem. If there's a problem, I want to know immediately. You'll have my cell phone, you'll have my information, email, all that stuff. But I'm very clear that I need to know, because that's the only way I can fix it. We do a pretty good job of getting things right, and we perform, we do what we're supposed to do, but we're human, right? We're human, and things are gonna happen. And so having the relationship, which all this ties back to, is the relationship. And so, yeah, so I'm glad you said that, because that's actually where I was gonna go. And so any
One of the phrases I like to use is that feedback is the breakfast of champions.
yeah,
They used to say Wheaties is the breakfast of champions or whatever. Feedback is the breakfast of champions, because when you get feedback, you grow, whether it's good or whether it's bad.
yeah,
Okay. So I always encourage people to tell me what's going on good, what's going on bad. As a coaching client, I always end up all my coaching sessions. What's your takeaway from today?
mm,
What did you learn today? We just spent an hour plus or minus a little bit together. What are you taking away? Was this null? Did you get anything out of it, or did something strike you? What do you want to remember from this going away?
yeah,
That's part of feedback. Is
so true. When I host my trainings and slash demos, when I'm explaining what the retention made simple process is, and I get to the feedback part, I'm like, literally, I've had clients say, I don't want to ask for feedback. And I'm like, that means you know it sucks. Because you would ask otherwise. And so one of the things that I teach that's very important in this 5-part onboarding, which is critical, if they can only do one thing, onboarding properly will help set their clients up for success and staying longer. But automate those feedback requests so you don't get to choose. Because sometimes something goes wrong. We're dealing with a client right now that we just onboarded, and there's been some hiccups in the process, not because of us, but there's been some hiccups. And so if I got to choose when those things went out, I would wait until something was smooth to do it. And that's not real. We need the real data. And so if you're afraid to ask for feedback, that says it's not going to be good. So making sure you ask for that feedback is really, really important.
Well, here's the thing that hits me all the time. I'll ask for feedback, and people will start telling me the good things that they found out about me. Well, that just helps me.
Yeah.
Number one, if I'm doing good things, I want to be sure and do more good things. Okay. And number two, if I'm doing bad things, I want to be able to go in and correct them. So
our stuff has two. What's one thing we're doing well? What's one thing we could do better? And I have it, and it says, I really want to know. Don't skip this, right?
yeah.
And so and then the magic is when somebody gives you feedback, good or bad, you have to respond. You have to. And then if you actually implement, if they give you something, you say, this could be better, and you implement something, making sure they know you did that, that's going to add in a layer of loyalty that nothing else will be able to get you.
And if somebody suggests something that, really does improve your process, improve your retention, and you keep 5 customers for a year longer than you would have otherwise, reward them, give them something nice.
Yeah.
Give them something really nice.
Think of the value. Think of the value of that.
Exactly. And by the way, put their name on the thing, not our name.
Amen. Amen. Hold on. I got right here. All right. Here's a great story. This is Coach Dale. And I know Kayla did this, and that's okay. But she's part of your team. But this is a great example. I'm trying to see where the camera is for here. Is it showing?
It's showing, but it's hard to see the actual logo or whatever you're trying to show.
Yeah. So I love purple. It's a secret. And I love glitter. I love sparkle. I mean, look. And a few years ago, for Admin Day, Dale and Kayla got me these purple sparkly pens that says "Your Admin Ninja" on it. It does not say Coach Dale. It says "Your Admin Ninja." And there was like a pack of 5 or 6 or something, and I still use them. I keep them. And it's a perfect example of what client appreciation is supposed to look like. It's about me, not you, right? And so this is a great example. I highly suggest when you're sending something, if you're just sending swag, and that's fine, there's a time and a place for swag, right? And I actually love good pieces of marketing swag. But if it's truly for appreciation and that is the goal, it's not about that. It's about the actual thing that they're getting with their name on it, not yours. Another example I have is a few years ago, one of my clients is a Jewish wedding planner. And what she wanted to do, she has some high-end hotels that she works with for venues and that kind of thing. And so I created a little stand, like a little plastic stand that these little cards sit on, and they just have smile more, laugh, take care, drink water. And there's 12 of them, and they sit on the thing and they rotate. And we made those, mailed them in a package to the contact person at the hotel, to like 10 or 12 of them. And that was back in 21. And she still has people, when she goes to see them, it's still on their desk. It doesn't have her name anywhere on it, but I promise you, every time they see that, they think of her.
Mm-hmm.
That's what builds in loyalty, right? And yes, journals are nice. And yes, there's all kinds of things that you can do. But if you think about what your client is actually going to want, that's going to be better.
You mentioned journals. And
Yeah, no, yeah,
you gave me this journal.
I did.
And I think you gave it to me. Let me see if I got a date here. January 22.
Yeah.
Is when I first started writing in this journal. Okay. Well, I don't journal much, and journals are not my regular thing of doing. I do most of the stuff on the computer. Okay. But I have almost filled up this whole journal.
Wow.
And I use it for very specific things. I use it for the Kyle Wilson events and a few other things like that.
Yeah.
But, it's like, okay, it's about time for another Coach Dale.
Okay, I got you. I got you, boo. And so the funny thing, though, a couple months ago when I was up, I guess it was August or September, when y'all were gone and we stayed at your house, I went and saw some clients that are in the DFW area, and Jason Bingen with Farmers Insurance is one of them. And I surprised him. I showed up at the office, and he had the journal. He got one too, and he had the journal on his desk right there. Doesn't have my name anywhere on it. Right. So, all right. So I want to circle back to the question I started with at the beginning, because we're going to start to wind down a little bit.
We kind of rambled all over the
place. I know. I know. If you're listening or watching, some of the podcasts will be more structured, but this is just the flow of Coach Dale and Sam. But I want to go back to, who are you? Because you talked about a lot of different things, and who are you as a human being and then human doing. One of the things that you're working on right now that I truly am I love is the energy map. And so would you talk a little bit about that? Because I know you have a special coming up in February, and I'm going to put a link to that in the show notes too. And so I'd like for you to talk about that. And I love, like, you created mine, and the verbiage on it when I was reading it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I understand myself so much better now.
So your energy map, first of all, I call the whole program Your Energy Map because it's specific to you. It's not specific to me, like we were just talking about. And basically it goes through the Working Genius assessment. And then you get, from me, you get your energy map. I have mine right here in front of me, so I'll hold it up. My own energy map, Dale's energy map. There's 6 parts to the Working Genius, and that's what these 6 things are. And so my 2, invention and discernment, are at the top. My 2 frustrations, enablement and tenacity, are at the bottom, and the other 2 are the competencies in the middle. Now, all the information that is on this map, it talks about, I'm the discriminating ideator. Well, that's the combination of invention and discernment. And all the stuff that's on here all comes straight out of the Working Genius assessment that you get a 10-page, 12-page report when you take the assessment. Okay, well, you can go buy the assessment for $25 from their website, workinggenius.com. But what you don't get is, you don't get it expressed as your energy map, and you don't get my consultation that comes with it. So for that, for the cost, I think I don't even remember what it is retail right now. The prices just keep changing. I think it's $299.
Yeah, I think
that's the retail price. And so for that, you not only get the assessment, you get your energy map like this from me, and you get a 1-hour consultation. And that 1-hour consultation is not just to help you understand what is actually on here, but how does it work for you in your life? How does it work for you in your business? How does it work for you with your team? One of the great things about the Working Genius assessment is that it is fairly simple for most people to understand. And it's also fairly simple for most people to predict at least one of the two geniuses of other people. Okay.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't want to go down the rabbit trail right now, but I think I'm running about 85% on
I'm guessing.
identifying the two geniuses of people after I've talked with them for an hour. So, and so it's not like it's mystery or whatever when you get the lens that you can look through it that way. So I've talked a lot about energy, but the fact is that energy is really critically important to you. Okay.
Mm.
Uh, if you do stuff that is just really draining to you, that's a sign that that's probably not in your natural flow. It's like swimming upstream,
Mhm.
as you said. Okay. You can have things that are energizing or de energizing on the being side, on the who side. You can have things that are energizing or draining on the doing side as well. And so, and especially when you get a team together, um, I think most of us kind of have seen enough personality tests, gone through enough DISC assessments or whatever. We kind of have a feel for a lot of that. The Working Genius is brand new. It was created in 2021, and it is uh, as simple as the DISC in some ways, and it's a whole lot more useful.
I
So,
agree, it's much
um,
more useful. When I went through it, and then when you sent me my energy map and I was able to really hone in on some things, it happened to be at a time where I was having a problem with the client, and the problem was they weren't doing what I told them to do. And then they were saying, "But it's not working." Well, it's not working because you didn't do it. And so I found out that because of how I am, that if I give a suggestion and it's dismissed, that gets under my skin, right? So it made sense why I was irritated, right? So then I have
especially for you and for me, if they just don't even consider it and they just reject it out of hand,
yeah.
if we need some amount of feedback, about why it isn't going
Why? Yeah, I was gonna why
yeah,
didn't you do it? Like,
yeah.
and so anyway, so it was very timely. It was very, very timely. And yeah, so I continue to coach with you, 7 years in, because every time I do, sometimes when I get on the calls, I don't know where we're going to go. I don't have like a specific problem. And it would be very easy to say, oh, I don't have anything going on right now. We can pass. But I don't do that because every time, hang on one second. I don't pass on meeting with you because every time I do, something bubbles to the top and you're able to guide me in ways that I just don't even know that I need. And I think that's part of what most business owners, especially solopreneurs, small business owners, people that are founders that are by themselves, they need somebody like you to help prompt those questions. And because we're like in this silo all by ourselves. And one of the best decisions you helped me make about 3 years ago was, okay, Sam, it's time to have a leadership team, right? And because things were growing, things are happening, and it can't all be on my shoulders. And my goal ultimately is to have most of the admin stuff run without me so I can build the company, build processes, structures, systems and things, and then do other stuff. Like I have other things. And so that leadership team has really been a bigger blessing than I even realized. And I thought a leadership team sounded boring, so I call it my hedge. And so the hedge in my brain is a protection, like a hedge. In the Bible, they talk about a hedge of protection. Or you think about even just outside, you have a thing of hedges to protect, right? And so, but also a hedge is also, if you Google it or chat GPT it, it's a group of ninjas. And so the hedge. And the rule is that I will not make a decision that changes the direction of our company without getting at least two of the three to agree with me. And that has helped me make decisions better because sometimes I'm like, oh, butterfly, squirrel, I see this and I want to go down this path. And because I check in with them, I'm better. My business is better. But also, I have, we have 9 people on the team right now, 3 are the hedge. And so I had been funneling all the problems, all the questions, all the things, and I was getting overwhelmed because it felt like I was only dealing with problems. Now, each of the hedge has certain people that report to them, and I only get it if they can't figure it out. Right? Imagine if I had stopped coaching with you when I just went through StrengthsFinder. Like, I got value, it changed my life, but the impact continues, and that's because of how you continue to show up in the world and be there, and, I can't imagine my life without you.
Well, likewise, for sure. So what Sam hasn't talked about a lot is that she created this virtual administration company called Your Admin Ninja, and I started using their services. And no matter how much you spend coaching with me, I always end up spending more with Your Admin Ninja. So
That's valid.
it's been a really interesting thing. And then, I don't know if you even want to get into the new partnership that we got going on.
Oh yeah, we've got 5 minutes. I'll just say, okay, so here's the thing. We'll go into it really quick. So what had happened was that building out everything for 2026, Your Admin Ninja is leaning in on teaching client retention with Retention Made Simple. That's why this podcast exists. We are going to be implementing systems for the people that hire us, and we're going to use snapshots in Go High Level. And so we had High Level, but we weren't an agency owner. And Andrew on my leadership team on the hedge said, hey, if we're really going to do this, it's probably now is the time to set up the agency so that we're not having to go through somebody else. We can set it up all in our stuff. And so we talked, and you're like, well, I've been thinking about it. And so now we have ninjacrm.us, and that's a platform that you're using to support your clients, and I'm using it to support my clients. And there's been a learning curve, and I'm so excited about what we get to do and how we get to help our clients really impact their business with systems and processes that they don't have to create, that they can just turnkey and get it going. And then you're using it in some different ways. Talk about it from your perspective.
Well, one of the things I do is faith in business, right? Well, it's hard to put faith into the Go High Level side of things, but it's a whole lot easier to put the business inside the Go High Level side of things. Every business needs to communicate with their list of people. So you need a mailing list. You need to be able to send stuff out. Every business needs to be able to take an offer, such as Your Energy Map. Okay. That needs a way for people to sign up for that, pay for that. Every business needs to be able to track things. Okay. I need to send this to these people. I need to send this to these people. It can even get to the point, although we're not quite at that point just yet, where you could track whether they like alcohol or not. You could track things like don't send Dale popcorn.
Popcorn.
You could get all that stuff in there, and we'll get there eventually. But these are all systems and processes, and that's what my 48 years in IT have really honed into my brain. Is I can't think any way other than that. And so when I see people doing stuff, it's like, oh, go automate that. Quit banging your head against the wall doing the individual emails to this group and another individual email to this group and all that sort of stuff. And so that's what Go High Level does for me and my clients, is helps them put their systems and processes and get their business on a more automatic running side of things.
Yeah, you described it perfectly. Yeah, that's so good. So I'm looking forward to 2026 being just like the best year ever. We've talked about this a couple times, how we spent the end of 25 building and creating for 26, and that it's just already happening. And so if you had one thing you wanted to make sure you said, because we've got 1 minute left, what's closing words? What if people could only hear one thing from you today, what would you want them to know?
Lean into who the Lord created you to be. Know who you are. Know why you're here. What kind of legacy are you meant to leave on this world, go do that.
Yeah.
And if you need help figuring it out, I'm here.
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you, Dale. All right. I'll make sure that your links are on the show notes everywhere. And if you are not already following Dale, make sure you get connected with him. I'll tell you, like he said, if you need help, he is there to support you. I know you have even a free like discovery call. Make sure the link for that is there as well. So if they're not really sure what they want or what they need, they're maybe not ready for your energy map, but they want to have a discussion to see if that's the best thing for them, I know you'd be happy to get on a coffee chat with them.
Always.